More videos. Waiting for the windshield stuff to dry, the glue, but I do still have to rig the flaps, so I'm gonna do that. And the only thing left is the flaps, which that I believe is easy with the new instructions. The rudder is less so easy. We're missing a little bit of a deflection there. So somebody else had mentioned that we have to take that stop block out again and cut some away. I also looked at Tony's video, Tony Wall, thank you, you rock. And I was counting the rivets. I paused the screen and it looks like from this rib, if you're counting this, 1, 2, 3, the fourth rivet in is about that 28 degrees. Same thing on this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, actually just a little bit more. And that coincides pretty much with what I came up with my little protractor template here. So yeah, as much as I dread getting in there and taking that thing out because it's a pain in the backside, I think I'll have to do that. We'll do the flaps first, that's easier. All right, these are the newer instructions. There was some older instructions. Anyway, we're using these. So place the flap handle in retracted position, done. Align the trailing edge of the flap with the trailing edge of the aileron. So I assume they want that to be straight. And then we have those lined up perfectly out there, and both flaps are up just a little bit. So they want you to kind of push up. So I think we got to take make these come down. Both sides are the same. All right, a little discrepancy in here. I had these labeled from the original assembly that there's 14 turns on each one, which is obviously more than the 10, but one side was showing more threads than the other. Now I just figured out, digging into this rod here, and I think I have more turns on this, less turns on this one than on that side, because when it was all the way up, this was actually hitting the opposing part. So I'm going to loosen that up a little bit. Please don't drop the washer in the aileron. Please. Ah! That's a flap anyway. All right, so that was the right one I'm working on, but I do recall on the left one, or actually on both of them, see how close that nut comes to the flap gap seal? So yeah, that way it would hit it. I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to put the nut on this side because obviously it's bigger and there's more room. Maybe the tape will prevent the washer from falling inside there. All right, other than a whole bunch of back and forth, I even used the digital protractor between the ailerons and the flaps. That was pretty uneventful. So I have these at the same setting now, and I put these, wrong shift. So if you push up, it'll hit the cable, but just barely. Before I had one jamming against it and the other one was loose. What I can tell you is these are screwed all the way in. I would say they had 14 turns, so maybe like 15, 16 turns, and then back a little, you know, like half a turn off, so they're not too tight. Then these ones are also all the way in on both sides, minus maybe 2 or 3 turns. So I believe I had those labeled as 15 turns, so I think everything's about 15 turns in on either end of all the push-pull rods. But you know, it does tell you to keep this in mind, but I have equal play on both sides, so I'm happy with that. I'm gonna put all the washers back in, hopefully not drop any, and that is the rigging of the flaps. Something simple. Alright, the hardest part now is tightening these damn jam nuts. So I found that if you put the flap in the second position up or the middle position, and then you have to use a wrench. This one's actually too thick. I have a thinner 3/8. Somehow get it in from this side. There you go. And then the other wrench from this side. You can do it incremental. Turns to get it tight. Ah! Fun. Alright, last is the deflection. Measure that. If that's not up to par, I don't know what I would do to adjust it, so it doesn't really matter. We'll zero that out. So that's at 0. And then they say full flaps, 4th notch, it should be between 45 and 50 degrees, plus or minus 2. So that's 44.25. All right, so we are good. Now I'm going to put some Loctite on here and torque seal, and we'll call that a done deal. Well, I kept waiting and waiting, but it doesn't get done on its own. So I guess today's project is that rudder stop. Means the back of the plane's got to come up. Hands are going to get cut. For a minute I thought maybe I can go in here and file it, you know, through that, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I am going to take out the rudder stop, and the problem is that we don't have full rudder deflection. We need another few more degrees, and I think with a tail dragger that's vital. So here we go. Alright, to recap what we're trying to do here. So the rudder is centered. Instructions want you to have a deflection of 28 degrees in either direction. So a while ago I made this little template to get my 28 degrees, and I also followed some YouTube videos, especially Tony Wall and Tina RANS S-21 project, who has been invaluable for this build. Well, it depends. If he's ahead of me, he's valuable to me. If I'm ahead of him, it might be reversed. But anyway, I caught a glimpse of his video where I counted 1, 2, 3, just beyond the 4th rivet in, or if you're not counting the center rivet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just beyond the 6th rivet out on either side, is at or about 28 degrees. So obviously we're not near that. A little bit closer on this side, a little bit less close on that side. And the problem is, if you can see inside there, see that stop that it's hitting? So I either have to grind the stop or the aileron thing. Probably the stop would be the better idea, I think. So anyway, I'm gonna try and work on that. And I'm guessing somebody said you had to take like maybe almost 1/8 of an inch off on this side and a little bit less on that side. So that kind of makes sense with what I'm finding here. I'll let you know what I come up with. I don't know if I'm just a big whiner or if it was a matter of psyching myself up for like this horrible job, because it wasn't actually that bad to get out. And you don't need 2 people. So, getting it in, maybe that's the problem. But I'm gonna trim a little bit more off of this side. I marked it while I had it in there, and a little bit less on that side. And fingers crossed it's close, because I don't want to do it 10 times. So for starters, I basically found the center point. Found the center point, and this way when I start grinding, at least I know where I'm at. Alright, so I'm going to start by taking 10 1,000ths off of here and then 5 1,000ths off of there. Alright, always feel like I'm taking my fingers' life in their hands when I'm doing that, but that cut came out perfect, so let's see if it fits. Why didn't you tell me I put the block on the wrong side? What a knucklehead. Oh boy. Alright, so I haven't... Wow. Alright, I would say I'm super happy with that. We got equal and over 28 inches of rudder, and degrees of rudder deflection. So that was easy. So 10 1,000ths off of one side and 5 1,000ths off the other side. Maybe that'll work for you. I also figured out why I was dreading this, because getting those bolts in from the backside and then the nuts back on and torque them is a bear. So that's good, and that's good. So looks like we may have, I mean, if I push on it, I guess if you just step on the rudder pedal, it's probably 28 degrees, but good with that. Found some more bolts to tighten, torque, and torque seal. Yeah. These were early on in the build and kind of forgotten about in the tail cone. Alright, to sum up this rudder rigging, got that situated, got these things tightened. And I ended up actually moving the rudder return cable, so this guy down here, or whatever this rudder retention thing is, to make it tighter, looser. Oh my god, I can't even remember. I moved this closer one hole, so tighter. So now, because I was having a difference in the cable tensioning, I got this one just under, well, obviously it doesn't go below 15, but if I had to guess, it's probably about 12. It's supposed to be 10 to 15. And then this one is probably closer to the 15 side, and the same as if you measure it back here. So 10 to 15, if that's good. On the 13-14 side. So now that is all set too. They feel nice and smooth, and then obviously the tightening is easily done by adjusting this bolt, the middle one. But I know I'm repeating myself, you know that, because you build on the plane probably. Alright, that finalizes rigging, the rudder rigging. I think that was the last thing for the rigging. So thank you. See ya.